And today's guest on the Financial Planner Live podcast is Paula Guedes. She is the practice lead here at Foster Denovo. She talks to us today how she left Brazil, came to England, did a master's in economics, went into financial planning, got level 4 qualified, became a financial advisor, went back into paraplanning at Foster Denovo and supercharged her career in the business. She's now a practice lead, she's super ambitious, she's a leader in the financial planning profession and an inspiration to all women wanting to get ahead. You're going to love this episode. Paola, thank you so much for joining me today on the Financial Planner Live podcast on this special with Foster Denovo on a sunny day at last. Yeah, you've been in the sun though, haven't you? You've been over in Albania.
Yes, it just came back, 10 days of sun, completely different than here.
Was it? Fantastic. Yeah. Never heard. I've heard of Albania. I didn't know it was like a place that people went on their holidays until you showed me through Instagram pages. It's become this super popular place, right?
Yeah, and it's really beautiful. I have to say we enjoyed, we travel around, and yeah, it's a beautiful country.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm going to check it out. Absolutely. But it's not a travel show, is it? The Financial Planner Life. It's about journeys within the financial planning profession. It's about careers. And today we're going to talk about yours. So let's kick things off. How did you get into the financial planning profession? And how did you then end up in Foster Denovo?
I think in a way to explain how I end up in financial planning, I think we need to go back when I started, when I arrived in the UK, I believe 12 years ago. So when I arrived here, the idea was I wanted to do a master's, and I always been a very analytical person. So I decided to do a master's in finance and economics. That then led me to find a job, a wealth management assistant job in a financial planning firm. And that was actually my first contact with the profession. In that first company, then I then did my level 4 qualification. So I did all my first exams that you say, like more the basic exams to get into the financial planning, to then become a financial planning advisor or a paraplanner, for example. Yeah, and then I then got promoted. I became a trainee wealth manager. I learned a lot about the professional, about the different career paths within the profession, within the industry. About I think 2 years, a little bit over 2 years in that job, I decided that for me, I needed to make a next, like what would be next. So decided to make a move. I joined then a bank as a wealth manager. But I have to say, I think in that position, I soon realized that client facing was not what I actually wanted. I really loved all about the research and about the, more of the, not only operational side, but being the right arm of the advisor and being that person that kind of loved the calculations, loved the research, help the advisor put the advisor together. So then I stayed there for about 6 months because within the first 3 months, I already realized that was not for me. And that's when I started then looking for other jobs. And that's how then I kind of end up here because I then start looking for paraplanners, which is more the technical side of the advice. And then I joined Foster Denovo about 5 years ago now as a paraplanner. And then, a lot happened.
Well, yeah, brilliant. And what I love about that as well is that you came from Brazil, right?
Yes.
Did your master's here?
Yes.
Yeah, so you come over, you've done a master's, which is pretty damn impressive. I couldn't even pass my GCSEs and I'm English. So yeah, you come from Brazil, you've done your master's, got through that, and that was in economics?
Economics and finance, yes.
Economics and finance. That kind of made you think, well, where can I go with this? You found your path into financial planning where you did your qualifications and was more focused around administration, paraplanning, that kind of thing in that role?
I started completely on an entry-level basis. So you were right, on the admin role. So pretty much creating packs for the meetings and just completely learning about the profession. It was the first time I was having any exposure to financial planning. But what was great about the job was they gave exposure to all of the different types of jobs in a way. So even in an admin role, we would go to the meetings with the clients. We would talk. We would have client contact. So that role is actually a learning curve for me. Like I learned so much there, and I learned about then all the different paths that I could go in a way. Well, I could go admin side and stay more on the administration and grow that way. I could go more technical side, which is more the paraplanner side, writing reports, being like the helping the advisor create all the advice, or then I could be the advisor myself. So I think that job in a way was just a great opportunity for me to learn more about the industry and know more about all the different career paths that are available within the financial planning. Yeah.
Well, and I think people should have that exposure. So when they go into a financial planning company, being able to see how different sides of the business actually works allows people to start to test it really and find out what their path actually is by seeing it and by doing it. And some of us are those activist type learners. I'm that type of person. I'd rather do something to understand whether or not I like it or not. And I think just kind of touching on your journey, like admin, paraplanning, then into client facing, because you joined a bank and started doing client facing, and that was like a trainee wealth manager, was it? That kind of thing? Were you in front of clients?
Yeah, like it was straight away from. So I actually got as you had a period where you would join as a trainee. I only stayed there 6 months. So you join as a trainee wealth manager. You then go through their own kind of like study plan, and then you get signed off and you sit down in front of the clients. But part of this study planning, it is you do already client meetings and all of that. You lead the meetings and you also do your own report. So it involves everything. But that position for me, it was client facing, but the bank was too restrict on what you could do in a way. So I feel working for Foster Denovo, for example, we do holistic plan, right? So we only not look into pensions or investments. We look into inheritance tax. We look how to reduce your income tax liability. Like there are so many different things that you can do. And I felt the bank was too restrict. In addition to that, I didn't enjoy myself, the daily client facing, the daily contact. And as weird as it sounds, it felt for me that was not the right thing to do, that's not what I wanted for my career. And that is one of the things that I talk to my team a lot of the times is not knowing what you don't want sometimes is a right step on your career. Because for me, making that decision led me to where I am today. And for me, I'm actually thinking I'm on the right path. So maybe I would feel stuck there. I would feel, you know what, why I don't want to be an advisor, and taking that really badly and just could be stuck on something that I soon realized I didn't want to do.
I think you're absolutely lucky that you had that exposure before you went into the bank, and you could very quickly identify that the banking environment was more transactional.
Yeah.
It's restricted. You are somebody I've spoken to off podcast, very intelligent. You need to be stimulated. And I think the bank environment in that role wouldn't be the right fit for somebody like you who likes to know the ins and outs of things, how it all works, how it all connects together. It wasn't stimulating enough for you. And I used to recruit into banks years ago, and when bank assurance was a really big deal. So most people were in banks. That's when we had 250,000 regulated advisors, but most of them were in the banking environment. And it was pressured. It was, sitting down with clients every single day, because you had clients coming, they never struggled to sit in front of a client. But it was like a conveyor belt, system, and it was the same thing over and over again. So it's not overly stimulating or overly interesting. And it wasn't heavily client-centric, whereas financial planning is. There's so much more to it. There's so many more different avenues. As you say, it's completely holistic. So I can totally get that. And what's beautiful about your journey as well, and I like what you said. You said, look, sometimes you've got to try something. It's not a failure. It just means you found the thing you don't want to do. Yeah. So what can we, there's probably lots of people listening to this podcast now. So they're in the role. They know it's not what they want to do. So they could be somebody that's gone, oh no, I'm client facing. It's not, I'm more interested in the research and the technical side, or vice versa. So let's look at that transition, because being in front of clients has taught you something, isn't it? What's it taught you, first of all, actually sitting in front of clients? And then it's taught you something. You've then transitioned back into what you were originally doing. What's that experience taught you?
I think it taught me in a way to see more from an advisor perspective as well. I think sometimes maybe if you don't have that exposure, it might lack some kind of like connection between a paraplanner and an advisor. So I think that client facing actually improved me as a paraplanner as well, because I actually, when I have a case and when I'm looking with the advisor, I'm not only thinking I feel as a paraplanner, I'm also thinking but how the advisor, when sit down in front of the client, will present this, what questions the client could ask him when going through this material. Like, is there any questions that might pop up? And these are the things that I might always try to be aware of. Mm-hmm. And then I try to then create something for the advisors that it's complete. And then when they sit in front of the client, they might feel very confident that they will have the answers that the client might question there, So I think for me is that it helped me be more, like, feel more related to the advisor in a way. So for me it was I see as something that helped me improve as a paraplanner.
Yeah, definitely putting yourself into the position of the financial advisor always helps doing the job. So you also understand the pressures that they're under, why they want information to be maybe perhaps delivered in a certain way. You might, I guess, as well, learn about the communication side of things. Like sometimes paraplanners often would put an advisor on a pedestal or feel disconnected from the advisor. And I guess a relationship needs to be formed between the two, because there is a personality attached to a report, for example. And I think a good paraplanner is somebody who understands the advisor and how that information should be articulated across. And I always found as well, like when I talk to good paraplanners talk to clients. And
that is the other thing is I actually joined quite a lot of client meetings. So not client facing, but I am. So I do as a paraplanner, I do work with a lot of different softwares, and some of these softwares we present to the client the results. So, there is a lot of advisors that ask me if I can join client meetings and present to them, and I do that all the time. So, it's not afraid of being in front of the client and on any of that, or having the client contact. That, in a way, kind of doesn't bother me at all. But it is actually enjoying the research part of it, the calculation, the fine details, I think, of
the technical detail.
The technical detail of financial planning, yes.
And I think it's a skill set as well to be able to present technical information in a way that's simple to understand.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really important. Financial planners are really good relationship builders, but they might not be great at presenting technical information. And there's so many paraplanners that probably aren't sitting in client meetings, and you sit down in front of a financial planner and there's a paraplanner in the room as well. All of a sudden it feels like a team of people, doesn't it? It feels like a little family office type thing. So if you're a client paying your money for that financial advice and for the service that you're receiving, but hey, I'm your financial planner and it's Paola. She's our researcher, paraplanner, and this is what she does in her part. And you're going to present. So all of a sudden I feel, wow, I've got a team of people around me that are looking after me and my finances. I think it's a beautiful thing. And it adds to that feeling and that connection with the client. It makes them feel they've got a little family office type feel to it, a concierge service,
Yeah. And that is actually the things that we actually talk to the clients about. We want to show them that they are not only dealing with a financial advisor, but they are dealing with a team. A team that has a technical side, which are the paraplanners, a team that is the administrator side. So that is actually one of the things that we always talk to clients is, you don't have one person that you can go to. You have a team of people that look after you. One of the things that I actually wanted to talk to you that you kind of mentioned was sometimes the simplicity, like in a way how you get something that is so technical and you explain to a client in more simple terms. And I was thinking, I actually was thinking about when I got invited to the podcast about my journey to like, how did I get here? And, there might be a lot of people watching these podcasts. They are not English native speakers. And I actually felt that this was a massive benefit for me because my reports, in a way, it's simple. Like, I don't try to embezzle in a way, with difficult words or any of that. And I always receive very great feedback about my reports are very simple, concise, full of content and really easy to read. So, I actually feel like, please, if English is not your first language, do not be afraid that, that job might not be for me, because you might be just the right person for the job.
Absolutely. That's a skill. You've got the skills and everything, but, being foreign or from another country shouldn't stop you from getting into financial planning. As you say, is clearly a benefit because you are simplifying the information that the client's receiving because you don't want to overcomplicate it, right? I think that's fabulous. Absolutely. Great point and a shining example. Your qualification-wise, you're really into your qualifications, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Yeah, so you've not only done your master's, you've done where are you now in your qualifications in respect of?
Yeah, so I've done my master's, then I did the level 4 qualification, and then I've last year, I finished my level 6, so I got the advanced diploma, and then because I already had 5 years experience in the industry, I'm chartered. So yeah, I'm 3 exams away to the toppest one, which is to become fellow, but wow. I'll get there.
There you go. That's fantastic achievement. You should be super proud of yourself and a shining example as well, especially to women. There's not enough women in the profession, is there?
No, it's not. You know what? And I think as Foster Denovo as well, this is something that we are trying to create awareness and bring more women to the company, because it's still a male-dominated industry. From my perspective, I've never seen like that. I've never felt I'm a woman, I'm not going to find my place there. Always the opposite, but I know not everyone thinks the same, and not everyone, and that's why is that the things I said about as well, not being an English as your first language. So yeah, don't think it is because either is a male-dominant industry or because English is not our first language or any other reasons that they're not right industry for you. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe we are trying to recruit more and more those people, to become more an industry that is more equally. No, that is not
Equality.
The right. Yes.
You're an ambitious individual. That's clear. So you decided that the banking side of things wasn't for you. Joined Foster Denovo. Tell me a little bit about your career progression since joining Foster Denovo. How long have you been here? What's your journey been like to where you are today?
So it is a journey of growth, I have to say. I joined Foster Denovo about 5 years ago now, in 2019. After a year joining, I had my daughter, Bella, who is now 4 years old.
My daughter is Isabella.
Oh, yeah. Didn't know that. So she's now 4 years old. And, a lot of people might think like, oh, after having a daughter, you would probably come back and want to take it easy. And for me, it was the completely opposite. I came back like all fired up and I'm like, okay, what is next for me? Sat down with, at the time, my manager and said to her, look, you need to help me. I want to go from A to B. How do I go from A to B? She sat down with me, we made a plan, and that's when I actually started doing my level 6 qualifications. And, looking back now, I think I've done maybe 6 exams in a space of a year. And yeah, it's just crazy thinking about it because they are so challenging and difficult exams that you need to take your time to study and learn everything and all the calculations and all of that. But yeah, I did it. And then when I finished my exams, that was the agreement with her as well. I then got promoted to a chartered paraplanner. But as I said, I'm ambitious, and while I was doing my exams, I was already thinking, but what next? Because I know I will get there and I will stay there for a while, but I need to start thinking about what next, because if I don't start thinking about what next, then what do? Do I get stuck? I'm not afraid of change. I'm not afraid of failure, like failing. I'm okay with failing, but I think I'm afraid of feeling stuck and feeling that, there is no way to go. So I finished my level 6 qualification already thinking, what next? And in a way, I then I've thought about again, should I then become an advisor? You question yourself again. And I'm like, you know what? I made a decision 5 years ago, maybe 4 at the time, that I didn't want that. And I actually don't. So I said, I actually think I want to try to pursue more like a leadership role. And then I start to specialize myself into that. So I did an external course, which was pretty much trying to find your one way to leadership. And then this, of course, naturally then I started having conversations with my manager about, now I'm this, so I'm already thinking of maybe what next. But yeah, you're always going to get people that, are on the journey of growth and thinking about and are very quite proactive themselves with what they want, and they don't want to wait too long for things to happen. But in my view, it's all about honesty as well. In a way, when I started doing all of that, I was not expecting something to happen at that moment. I knew that there was nothing in the team at the moment for me. So it was more me feeling comfortable with or prepared for when a new position happened to be there for me. I felt prepared for that than anything else.
Is there a thirst for knowledge or a desire for ambition, prestige from a job title, money? What is it that drives you? Because you're a driven person. You say you want more, right? Do you get bored easily? What is it that's driving you forward?
It's definitely not money. I think money can be a motivator just for a short period of time. I think if you only I think money comes when you're chasing other things sometimes. But I don't think money is what I chase for. I just think money probably comes naturally when I wanted to develop myself to do more or to get better. Thirst for knowledge, definitely. For me, knowledge is power. I try to always learn more, and I try nowadays this with my team as well. I feel, from a team perspective, developing a team is a two-way thing. You cannot develop someone that doesn't want to be developed, but I encourage that. This is something that I think you want to be better at your job. Just learn more about your job, learn more about the company, learn more about what we do as a team, what we do as a company. Definitely.
You've definitely got that need to achieve, not that need to avoid failure kind of mentality. You don't fear failure and you try things, because for you, trying things is indication of knowledge. It's indication of whether or not it's the right pathway, or it's confirmation, isn't it?
Yeah, I think sometimes we see failing as something negative, right? Maybe it's very associated to something that is quite negative, and I don't see it like that. I see it as an opportunity to learn and to get better and to improve. And yeah, I said that in the past. Sometimes you should be annoyed, maybe frustrated if you actually don't be given the opportunity to fail, right? Because how are you going to get better if you don't? So a lot of people don't want to fail. I actually don't mind. I actually think it's a good thing.
So let's look at that, because lots of people sit in roles and they kind of fester a little bit and hope that it's going to get better when deep down inside they're unhappy. Now, we could look at that being, do you think it's the environment that people are in? Do you think it's the person that's managing them, or the leader, or the direction of the business? Let's kind of look at it, because if we take it from a Foster Denovo perspective, what's your manager been like? What are the leaders like within your business? And what's the environment like? Has it been one for somebody like you that has ambition and a growth mindset? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think, as Foster Denovo now, it is a growing business. But if you as an individual, you don't want to pursue growth, then you're not going to achieve growth. I don't think it is just I think it needs to be a combination of things. I feel, for example, as a manager today as well, is my reports cannot just come to me and say, oh, I'm not growing, I'm not developing because of you, or I'm not growing, I'm not developing because of the environment. I think it's a combination. I think it is a manager, the environment, and the individual all together. So what do I mean by that? I feel is your environment could be an environment that, it is there to help you grow. You as an individual want that growth, and your manager needs to support that. In a way, everything kind of needs to align for you to grow to different jobs, maybe different teams, maybe different departments within the company. And I feel if you're saying, I don't grow just because of my manager, or I don't grow just because the environment, but you as an individual, you need to pursue and you need to want that as well. If you don't, I think you may even create the environment that you want. You might sit down with the manager and you ask for the support. So I think it is more down to maybe the individual than anything else. And maybe then, if you as an individual have done everything that you thought you should have and nothing is happening, then
it's time to look outside.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't suffer. You know, and I think a lot of people worry about oh no, but it's gonna look really bad on my CV if I look like I'm jumping around. In this day and age, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. In fact, a lot of companies will look at somebody who's got experience in multiple businesses as being a benefit. Different types of roles as being the benefit. I keep saying to people, move around. I know I come from a recruitment background, but moving around, even within a business, within the ecosystem of the business, is a good thing for your own personal development and growth, because you get to see the business from outside of the blinkered view that you have within a position. And there's always been this kind of put you in a box. You're a paraplanner, you're an administrator, you're a partner, you're in compliance, and that's it. What I did learn about Foster Denovo is that kind of culture of sharing, the culture of come into my little hub over here and learn what we're doing today. And then you might go into another hub the next day and learn about what they're doing. And you're developing your skills through connection and communication in this wonderful office in central London. You're right there, though. I think it's down to the individual. I mean, deep down inside whether or not you are doing everything that you can within the environment that you're in to push forward. If it's not happening, it's time to move, or it's time to talk to somebody. If you haven't talked to somebody, go and talk to them.
Yeah.
Explain exactly what it is that you want from your career. Outline it, because not all companies are like Foster Denovo, right? Foster Denovo have an amazing career development plan. I bleat on about it all the time. It's one of the best that I've seen, because I know it's one of the best that I've seen, because everybody keeps moving around and developing themselves. Since you've been here, how many opportunities for development have you had? Has it been vast?
Yeah, so joining 5 years ago, I joined as a paraplanner, then moved to senior paraplanner, charter paraplanner, and now I'm a practice lead. So throughout these 5 years, you could see a progress into 4 different roles. So the opportunity is there. But, you know, in a way, I didn't sit down and wait.
No, you made it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the advice of people, isn't it? Like, just don't sit on your hands. Don't point your fingers and blame other people. Go and stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself, have you done everything that you possibly can in this job role? And if you haven't, get out there and look around a little bit, speak to a few people, listen to some podcasts like this and hear about opportunities in other companies. Maybe it is the environment, maybe it is the leader, but it's down to you to make the move, isn't it? And take things and push things forward and do it with confidence and courage.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you need to know what you want to do as well. You know, as a leader, I would love someone in my team to come and say, Paula, I'm lost. You know, can you help me? Like, what do you think would be the right move? I think, as you said, go and talk. I'm not asking anyone to come to me with a created plan or, you know, exactly what to do next. But I kind of need to know that they want to do something. And then, I'm there for them.
You're an approachable leader then, are you?
I am, yes.
Oh.
I'm all about people and caring about them. And, you know, I think being open and honest and caring, it's at least the least you could do for your team, right?
Yeah. I think that's one of the traits that I've always seen in good managers are managers that can identify blockages in people where they are unhappy. Can they be resolved? Let's get to the root cause of that problem as quickly as we can within the work environment. Some of these things might be personal things, right? I used to have it in my business and when I owned a recruitment company. You'd get a lot of people with mental health problems, for instance, but I wasn't a mental health professional, but I certainly built like an employee benefits package where I could then listen to what was going on in their lives. If it was money, if it was their own personal mental health, it could be drinking or it could be lack of fitness, whatever it is. But I was able to signpost them to the right places. And I'd rather they come to me and tell me what's going on because it was easier for me to then help them solve that problem, which in turn is going to help them in the business get ahead because they're going to feel more relaxed and comfortable when they come to work. But I can't solve their problems. Yeah. I have to point them in the right direction to do it. And I always think that's what a great manager does. Can you just give us a bit of an overview of what you're doing right now then? What is your job role? So paraplanning, and then you moved into management. Talk to us about that role. What's your day-to-day duties?
Oh, that's fast. No, so like in a nutshell, maybe what a practice lead do is you lead the people in the team. So in a way, I'm responsible for the people. So their training and development, like finding out what is not working for them, what is working for them. So yeah, it's all about them and how they are feeling and how we can create a better environment for me as a practice lead. Looking after them is trying to create the team spirit, the team that people like to work with each other, they can trust each other, they respect each other. If I get that sense from, you know, you want to come to work and you like the people that you work with, then I'm doing a great job. Individually is then trying to find out what each one of them individually want to do and then try to help them achieve that. Short term, long term, it depends what are the ambitions.
What types of roles then are in your practice? Because just for people listening, you know, Foster Denovo have partners, they're financial planners. Those partners are self-employed mainly. And then Foster Denovo will administer paraplanning, administration, and they build practices within Foster Denovo's ecosystem, essentially, right? So as a practice manager, who's in your team? So if someone was reporting into you, who are they? What do they do?
So we are like one of the practice within the company. Mm-hmm. So we have a practice manager, and I'm the practice lead. So Steph, the practice manager, she will deal with all the process, all the MI, and then with me as a practice lead is all the people. So I have a team of administrators that looked after the advisors, and then a team of paraplanners. Then we'll do all the technical side. And then each team has a team leader that helps do the weekly checking and all of that. So in a way, you kind of have me, you have the team leaders, and then you have the team, the administrators and the paraplanners. Does it make sense?
Makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, I think it's really great. I think like having a people person within that as well is it's really, really important. It reminded me a little bit when I spoke to Helena because obviously Helena deals with the acquisitions and she deals with the recruitment, and she sits down with financial planners from the very day they walk through the door and sit there and go through the reasons why they're looking to maybe go self-employed or why they're looking to change business. And she goes along on the journey with them all the way through, makes them comfortable, makes them connect with people like you. And do we need to wrap a support team around you? Do we need to help you with lead generation and all those typical types of thing? And I think it's important that you don't just bring somebody into your business and just go, there you go, I'm going to dump you there and get on with it. And if you want to talk to anybody, you can talk to the guy who runs the business. I mean, that's so intimidating, isn't it? Having somebody in the business that's in the team that you can turn to, and their job is to recognize people, like, where can I help this person? Where might they be struggling? Are they confiding in me? Can we get over some problems? Can we help them with their career journey? Can I look at areas where I can show and give examples of what I'm doing to motivate them? Are they in the right place? Are they doing the right job?
Yeah.
Are they happy? I think that's super important. So having a people role like that is amazing. And it's a type of role, really, that if you're good at it, is going to propel you forward in your career as well, because running a business is all about people. You know, it is all about people.
Yeah. I think if you think about your best travels, your best trips, your best night outs, you're probably not going to remember where. Maybe it was about Albania, maybe it was UK. You're going to remember the people you were with, right? So for me, it's all about the people. It's about caring about them, make sure that, they are in the right place, happy with what they're doing. If they're struggling, someone is listening to them and helping them get through. So, and I do hope it helps me to make the next move.
Well, let's talk about that, because you are ambitious, aren't you?
I am.
You must be thinking about your future. And I love it. And this is the thing, again, with Foster Denovo. I've sat down with people and they are future thinkers. They're thinking about their next step. And I think with the Crestline investment here at Foster Denovo and the ambition that the company has, they're not slowing down. So there's opportunity. So there's opportunity within. And an ambitious individual like you must be stimulated by that. So what's next? Where can you see yourself going?
You know, as you said, the company is growing, and there will definitely be opportunities for me, I think, to get more and more involved within the business. So, don't want to give myself any new titles, but who knows?
Do you think you would ever step away from like the client side and move more into the internal project management, where you're kind of talking with one department to another, or maybe move more into partnerships externally outside of the business and developing relationships that way, and the way that certain types of introducers might work, or tech companies, or whatever it might well be, the employee benefits side feeding into financial planning side? Do you see yourself on a wider scale dealing with different stakeholders, or do you see yourself more in the financial planning lane?
I still see myself in the financial planning lane in a way, maybe more in the technical side, and helping train and develop the technical team in a way. I do feel by having these experience in the past with client facing, all of that, I'm a very good fit to kind of like be dealing with the technical side and give them that, perspective from an advisor, like that advisor perspective. So I don't know, I'm big in training and development. So I feel I can help people grow in a way. So I still don't know my next move. That's why it's difficult.
Good.
Yeah,
but that's okay. Yeah. You don't have to
No.
Yeah, you don't have to have that. Because at the moment you probably you're not thinking about it because you're learning so much, and you're now a people manager, which you weren't. So there's a lot to learn in that respect, and sometimes you don't want to run before you can walk. There's so much to learn, isn't there?
Yeah.
And if we spend our time constantly thinking about the next thing all the time, are we truly fulfilled?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that I'm not thinking about, I'm always thinking about in a way. Like I think here, there in my mind, I'm kind of like, why I'm learning more about the company, why I'm having more exposure to other people in the business. I'm always listening, I'm always thinking. But yeah, I think my focus at the moment is learning and getting better in what I'm currently doing, to then see first, is that what I want to do long term? Second is, if that is what I want to do, then what next?
When new people come into the business, or maybe they're early on in their career, and it could be at any point in their career, we often look at the person who's in a leadership position and think they've got it really good and they've got it all together, they're switched on. Do you ever have any self-doubt or anything like that?
So, of course. But, before coming here today, I actually bumped into Helen in the corridor. And we were actually talking about self-doubt. And she made me reflect. I actually don't think it's self-doubt. I think it's more self-reflection in a way. I think I'm aware. I'm kind of like aware sometimes if I need to improve, or I'm aware that, I might need a little bit of feedback just to see if I'm actually doing, people are like having the same, like are viewing the same way I am, or if they have a different perspective. So I think maybe I don't doubt myself as much. Of course I do sometimes, but I think I kind of reflect a lot, and that's because I'm aware and I wanted to continue to improve. So I think I try then to kind of be surrounded with people that will kind of give me that, tell me the truth. Because I'm not, when I say surround myself with people that will tell me the truth, is I don't want to listen sometimes, oh, you're doing everything right. I want to hear, Paula, you're doing great, but you ABC, you could be doing better, or that kind of like open communication that I'm not afraid of feedback. I actually don't say negative feedback, I say constructive feedback, because everyone should be hearing feedback, getting feedback from other people, just to see, are you in the right path? Do you need to make any adjustments? So maybe it's more self-reflection than self-doubt.
I love it. I'm a big self-reflector. I always get the mirror out and have a good look. I like to inventory my thoughts and look at, what are they? Why is it affecting me? What part of myself is it affecting? Is it triggering me around money? Is it triggering me around my security instincts, my relationships? Am I worried about what people are thinking? What particular reason is that? I love self-reflection. I think it's one of the best projects you can work on, is yourself. And for people that are listening right now, Helen is the COO of the business, right?
Yes.
So you stopped her in the hallway, you've had a good chat, and she's giving you a pep talk, and you're talking about self-reflection. Another female in the business in a leadership role. One thing again, I'm looking at Foster Denovo, there's a lot of women in leadership positions, and that's fantastic because it's going to give you a good balance, isn't it? So you can talk to guys, but there are women there as well in leadership roles pushing forward. And I think it's inspiring to the next generation of women that are coming through into financial planning. And Foster Denovo, again, are a company that are absolutely leading the way in respect of that. And I love to see it.
Yeah. Currently, our workforce is pretty much split 50-50, female and male. About leadership roles, I don't know exactly, but about workforce, we are actually 50% male and 50% female. So you can see that is...
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stat. I think it's 1 in 16 leaders within financial planning are women. 1 in 16.
We are changing that.
You are changing it. Well, I tell you what, you've got great things ahead of you, and it's been really enjoyable talking to you. And it just shows, hopefully, anybody watching or listening to this podcast, that if you put your mind to something and you push yourself into uncomfortable positions, it doesn't matter if it's not the right path. It will eventually lead you to the right path, and that variety is the spice of life. And to get stuck in, because you've done exactly that in the right environment. So thank you so much for telling us about your career journey here at Foster Denovo, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.